Bengaluru, the city where we all live, the city which we all love, the city which has truly put modern India on the global map, needs desperately a governance reboot. Bengaluru is India's global city. And this city is the most happening city in the country for so many reasons. It's the youngest city in the country, having the most number of people below the age of 35 in any metropolis residing in the country, concentrated in Bangalore. We are the youngest city in the country. We are India's science city, we are India's tech city, we are India's IT city, we are India's knowledge city, we are India's startup capital. We have made great news for very many reasons. And among the major cities of India, the pace at which Bengaluru is growing is second to none. And Bengaluru is projected to be the fastest growing city in the world for the next 15 years continuously. All of this presents a very, very inspiring, rosy picture of the city. However, there is another side to this city which also needs to be addressed to unleash the full potential of Bangalore's growth and Bangalore's potential to contribute to India's story. Every day, I'm sure all of us keep reading in our newspapers the challenges that Bengalurians as well as Bangalore faces. Bengaluru is crumbling today under its own weight. Anyone who visits the city and anyone who resides in the city experiences our infamous traffic jams on an everyday basis. And what is the economic cost of this traffic jam? 470 hours per employee is lost every year because of bad infrastructure. The productivity loss is pegged at $4.75 billion per annum. That's the kind of productivity loss the city is facing because of bad infrastructure. Though Bengaluru and Bengalurians figure right at the top in terms of the city having the highest per capita income in the country, which should have ideally translated to great quality of living for people, the paradox is that though we are the city which has the highest per capita income, in the ease of living index, among 111 cities in India, 58th is the position that Bangalore stands in. Questions that need to be answered. 5,757 tons of trash is collected every day, which is not managed in a scientific manner. Due to air pollution, doctors in Bangalore are saying that there's a 25% rise in asthma even in children below the age of 14 years. The High Court at many points in time has come down heavily on the main institution, the Municipal Corporation of Bangalore, the BBMP, for not doing its job properly. The High Court has chastised that the corruption in BBMP has reached monstrous dimensions. There is no efficient city planning taking place in the city. I'm sure all of you would have noticed as residents of the city that what was hitherto a very calm residential area is suddenly becoming a hub of commercial activities, leaving senior citizens and children and others to bear the brunt of unplanned commercialization. The reason for that is most of India's cities, the Town and Country Planning Act, which governs all of this, is inspired or rather motivated from the Town and Country Planning Act of 1947 of the United Kingdom. And since then there has not been enough updates made to ensure that city and town planning happens in synchrony and harmony with the local circumstances and changes. All of this is creating big problems for Bengaluru. And if we have to continue the growth story and continue the pace at which we are growing, we need to address the root problems of this governance structure. Why are we facing these problems today? Every day I meet people who come and complain to us that the water is not flowing properly in their taps, traffic is a big menace, garbage collection is not taking place efficiently, the city's municipal authorities are corrupt. All of them come and pose the same questions, whether it is the MP, whether it is the MLA, whether it is the corporator, whichever public representative goes and talks to them, these are the same set of complaints. Just very recently, in my very first couple of months after I took over as the MP for this constituency, the road in which this great institution is housed, the Banerghatta road, all of us know how notorious it was for its traffic jams. We tried to address the problem. And what I realized was, nobody is the owner of accountability for governance in the city. We asked who is in charge of the road. The BBMP said, we are not in charge, it's the metro which is in charge. The metro said, no, we are not responsible. It is the BWSSB which is responsible primarily for water. They are responsible for it. Then we called all of them together. And then we said, anyway, this is our city, go ahead and do something together. But these are band-aid solutions. The one conclusion that all of us drew out of this experience was that the reason for Bangalore's crumbling governance is that there is no unified leadership for the city. Look at any city in the world which are successful global metropolises. Whether it is New York, whether it is London, whether it is Seoul, whether it is Athens, whether it is the new cities of China, all of them have powerful mayors. And in the case of Bangalore, the city's municipal administration is governed under a very archaic, obsolete, and non-organized, a very chaotic Karnataka Municipal Corporations Act of 1976, wherein the term of a mayor for the city, which has a population of close to 1 crore, is 1 year without any executive authority. So I spoke to these mayors and found out what they did in their 1-year tenure. There are 198 wards that the mayor of Bengaluru must take care of. The 5 mayors that I spoke to in private admitted that in their 1-year tenure, not one of them could make a visit to all 198 wards. So what did they do? The first 6 months of their tenure went in accepting congratulations on accepting the office, and the next 6 months went in preparation for retirement. This is the kind of leadership that Bengaluru today has, unfortunately, and this needs to be addressed. Every day people come and tell us to address garbage, to address traffic, to address A, B, C, but these are symptoms and not the disease. The disease is the lack of a structured, effective, responsive, accountable governance apparatus. Therefore, we need to demand an exclusive legislation for Bengaluru city. And this exclusive legislation for Bengaluru must primarily take care of 3 things. 1, we need a popularly elected mayor with a full term, whether it is 3 years or whether it is 5 years. We need a popularly elected mayor who the citizens of Bengaluru can hold him or her accountable for delivery of services and goods. The city needs a Mar Abop. The city needs a leader who it can repose faith in and who it can hold accountable to in terms of omissions or commissions. That is the need of the hour. 2, the just look at the problem of transportation in Bengaluru. There are multiple agencies in the city which are all working in the field of the city's mobility. Buses are run by BMTC, metro is run by BMRCL, suburban rail is run by Indian Railways, and then there are these private public carriers like Ola and Uber and such other app-based taxis. Then there are auto rickshaws. Then there is another organization called the Department of Urban Land Transport, which I don't know frankly what it does. So these multiple organizations and agencies are all tasked with one primary duty. And the most complicated part is none of them work in coordination and cooperation with each other, but they all compete against each other. The BMTC competes against BMRCL for revenue, and the suburban rail system, which Bengaluru needs so badly, is stuck in bureaucratic hurdles because the suburban rail system is not supposed to eat the revenue of the metro. But all of them have a common objective and the same people to cater to, the same people to serve. Therefore, what this exclusive legislation needs to do is to take care of these competing interests of these different parastatals. It must bring them on the same page, bring harmony and unification between these parastatals so that Bangalore's infrastructure, Bangalore's governance is seen in a seamless manner. Most importantly, in 2017, the union government came up with a very robust national urban policy framework. This framework envisages a platform, a new vision on how India's cities must transform themselves. From a 1976 archaic law, from a 1947 inspired Town and Country Planning Act, the country as a whole, all our urban cities must now move towards the modern national urban policy framework of 2017. And Bangalore must take the lead. Why? Bengaluru and the people of Bengaluru have been the earliest adapters of any change that has come in the country. We, as the youngest city in the country, must also usher in this governance reboot for India's urban landscape. If Bengaluru and people of Bengaluru can't push for this, then nobody else will. Just look at how Bengaluru has been leading in India in transforming India's digital landscape today. Whether it is the jam trinity of Jandan, Aadhaar, Mobile, it was built in Bengaluru. 25% of all of India's UPI transactions happen in Bengaluru. When I visit Delhi for the parliament session, I make it a point to always carry cash with me. When I come back to Bangalore, most of the payments that we do is digital. The national health stack is being built in Bengaluru. The Aadhaar network was built in Bengaluru. The GST network was built in Bengaluru. Therefore, the electric vehicle policy has been, Bengaluru has been at the forefront of envisioning and implementing this policy. Therefore, if there is one city that can lead to India's national rejuvenation in terms of urban planning and urban governance, it has to be Bengaluru. And India is today placing itself as a country which will soon aspire for a $5 trillion economy. And I think Bengaluru has every potential to lead this $5 trillion economy ambition by ensuring that the entire state of Karnataka, because more than 60% of the state's GDP is contributed by Bengaluru alone. Therefore, a Bengaluru-led, efficiently governed Bengaluru-led Karnataka can itself contribute to close to $1 trillion for the country's $5 trillion aim. That's the kind of ambition with which young Bengaluru should dream of today. That's the kind of ambition that must motivate all of us. How can we go about doing this? This is not something that I'm proposing today. The need for an exclusive legislation for Bengaluru, the need of a mayor with a full executive authority for a full term is something that is lying in the government for the last 10-15 years. Multiple chief ministers have come and gone, but none of them have implemented in letter and spirit the constitutional aspirations, the constitutional obligations of the 73rd and 74th Amendment of devolution and decentralization of power. People say this needs political will. And that begs the question, what is political will? Political will, my dear friends, is the sum total of the common will of the common Indian, common Bengalurian. If all of that is put together, then that translates into the political will of whichever government. Therefore, I beseech every Bengalurian, I beseech all of you, all the young Bengalurians here. The city needs a governance reboot. India's IT capital, India's tech city, is desperately crying for governance reforms. And we need to be treating this disease and not going after treating the symptoms, because herein lies the problem. So let us all resolve to make Bengaluru, the city founded by the great Kempe Gowda, who at the time of founding this city had a grand vision of where the city's borders will touch, had the vision of laying the drainage pipes and the sewerage infrastructure for the city. Even then, we must do justice to the vision of the founder. Let us make Bengaluru as India's global city, as we have all the ingredients to make it the knowledge capital of the world, to make it the tech capital of the world, to make it the deep tech and fintech and AI learning capital of the world. All of this can happen if people of Bengaluru will be backed with a strong urban governance mechanism that you and I can't demand from our public representatives and ensure that it sees the light of the day. Nothing less than that must be our aspiration. Let building a globally influencing Bengaluru be our only aspiration. This is the only city where masala dosa and machine learning, filter coffee and fintech go hand in hand. Let's build on our strength and make Bengaluru the most awesome city in the world. Thank you so much for giving us space.